You're listening to the Cyberwire Network, powered by N2K.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to N2K Cyberwire's Hacking Humans podcast, where each week we look behind the social engineering schemes, phishing scams, and criminal exploits that are making headlines and taking a heavy toll on organizations around the world. I'm Dave Bittner, and joining me is Joe Kerrigan. Hey there, Joe.
Hi, Dave.
And our N2K colleague and host of the T-Minus Space Daily podcast, Maria Vermazis. Maria.
Glory to you and your house.
We got some good stories to share this week. So I tell you what, let's jump right in. Actually, we've got some follow-up here. Joe, you want to get us followed up?
Yes. Abdusabor wrote in with a letter and a picture of a text exchange. He says, "Hello, Dave, Joe, and Maria. I hope this email finds you well. I believe there is a recent trend of potential cyber attacks. Just 2 days ago, my wife received a random text message asking her to meet the individual somewhere. The next day, I got a similar text with a specific address. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. Could there have been a data breach with phone numbers and addresses stolen with zip codes? Because the address I was told to meet up was close to my zip code."
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm thinking also that this might be somewhere from a digital cyber incident to a physical cybersecurity issue. What are your thoughts? Your all-time listener and fan of the show, Abdusabor. So he sent along a picture, a screen capture, that is just a message that says, "Please come to this address," and it's got an address. You can all read. I'm not going to read it out because I don't know what it is.
Right.
But it's in Georgia, so in Marietta, Georgia, like Georgia, United States. So I'm assuming that Abdusabor is here in the U.S.
Yeah.
Can we all agree? Don't go to the address, right? It kind of goes without saying, but I'm still going to say it.
Where's your sense of adventure?
I'm so curious. What's there?
I'm going to wind up in pickle jars if I go to that address. That's my concern.
Yeah. Well,
You don't
first
need
thing
two
I would do
kidneys,
is
Joe.
Right.
Yeah, I would look up where that address is on Google Maps Street View.
Right.
You
got like a bunch of guys on Street View standing around with a big sack.
Right. They got black masks over their eyes and black and white striped shirts and berets. They're just sitting around with brass knuckles and sure. It just happened to be the day that the Street View camera
Not today.
came by.
Not going there.
No. I convinced my son once that the satellite view from Google Maps was real time.
Yes, I've heard of people doing
That's
that.
diabolical.
Go out.
I said, go and wave.
Right, go out and wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's great. Here, I'll go. You look for me.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
it's good.
I looked it up on Google Maps. Do we want to say what it is? It's nothing shady. It's just Ollie's Bargain Outlet.
Oh, really?
You
It's an
said it was
Ollie's?
nothing shady.
It's just,
And then you tell me it's an Ollie's?
It's an
Ugh.
okay. All right. I mean, you might get a really musty floor rug or something, but it's a bargain. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cheap.
good stuff, cheap.
Good stuff, cheap.
Okay. Well, that makes it even more interesting, I think, because
Someone wanted him to save
now
money.
there's a possibility it's just spam.
Right. It's an advertising.
Yeah.
Advertising. And this lines up with, Ollie's advertising. Remember the Christmas ad? They're doing say hello to friends, and then in the middle they go, "Don't forget your wallet." Is that
This does align with Ollie's,
Yeah.
yes, for sure. For folks who aren't familiar, Ollie's is a deep discount store. Basically, they take overruns of things or things that are slightly defective,
Water
or
damage.
things that have been, water damage, things that have been returned and refurbed. You can find food that is just a little bit expired. Like you can find all these things at Ollie's. My favorite thing, first of all, my dearly departed father was a regular visitor to Ollie's.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, was
yeah. There's
he? Okay,
one
yeah.
near where he lived, and he was, in fact, upon his passing, I get all of his mail, his postal mail, and he's like on the Ollie's VIP list, which. First of all, there's an Ollie's
there is
VIP
one?
list.
Okay.
No, I'm serious. And here's what I learned. Ollie's has a special shopping night where only VIPs get access to the store with special discounts and so on and so forth.
And
I
like
didn't know
first crack at the good stuff.
there's a velvet rope version of Ollie's. Who knew?
Premium.
But my
A
favorite
store
Ollie's
that is
story,
so discount that they hand write all of their signs like with
Yeah,
marker on
that's right.
paper. I mean, my
That's right.
goodness. Yeah, okay.
so
All right.
my favorite Ollie's story is my father was very proud of the new jacket that he'd bought that was branded with University of Maryland Athletics, right? So it's a red kind of, those like kind of satin style jackets, very shiny.
Yes.
Has a sheen to it.
Yes.
So he had that, and just across the chest was sort of like an arc was the word Maryland.
Right.
And it was the University of Maryland colors. My father was a big fan of University of Maryland women's basketball. So he's very proud of himself that he could wear this jacket to the games and show his Maryland pride. My brother, I believe, was the first one to point out to him that it was missing the letter Y.
Marlin.
What?
It just said
Marland?
Yeah. And the Y would have been right where the zipper or the buttons were, right up the middle. So that's why it wasn't obvious at first that the Y was missing, because you look at it and you go, well, maybe the Y is just tucked under the zip up part. No, it was just
No
just
why.
gone. Yeah, it was
Just
a
use
great
your
deal,
imagination.
Dad. Great deal. You really got your money's worth on that one.
Yeah. University of
laughed.
Maryland.
He laughed. All right, so this could be just advertising.
It could be.
But the other
Very
thing this reminded me of when I first saw it, I don't remember if you all remember, this could be a decade ago now, when the spam text messages started coming from telephone number prefixes that were close to wherever you lived.
Yes. Neighbor numbers, they called them.
Yes, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So you have you have your area code and then you have your prefix, right?
Your exchange.
Your exchange.
Yeah.
Thank you. And so it would be from your area code and your exchange, which would trigger additional attention, because what is this? Is this someone who lives near me? It's
Right.
coming from my town? But of course it wasn't. It's just, some kind of automated thing where they're faking the phone number. So that's what I thought of when I first saw this, that is this just something to draw the person into a conversation because it's somewhere nearby where they live. But the whole
Possible
Ollie's thing,
It's Ollie's. Yeah.
it sends the mind reeling of the possibilities.
They have
all my
budget for
friends growing up-
advertising, SMS advertising. Ollie's not, I don't know. There's
It's
something
cheap.
odd.
I mean, scammers use it, so it's got to be cheap, right?
Right.
I suppose.
Can any
I
of
don't know.
us claim that this would be off-brand for Ollie's?
No. I
No,
can't.
not really. I guess you're right. All right.
Well, I'm
They
not
didn't even
blaming
say in the
Ollie's for
message
this. I'm
who
not
they
saying
are.
this is them.
No.
Yeah.
But the address is in Ollie's, and I don't know, maybe you get beat up when you go to Ollie's.
So they meet you out front.
They meet you out front. Yeah.
No. I enjoy Ollie's. I think it's a fun place to just kind of poke around in and see, what's there, because you just never know.
Yeah.
You just never know what you're going to find. Misspelled college jackets and like I said, slightly expired food. So if you're going to do a Boy Scout camping trip or something, you need a case full of Pop-Tarts.
Right.
They're going to all be consumed in the next couple days.
Yep. Go get them.
Go get them at Ollie's. Right. All right. Well, thank you, Abdusabor, for writing in. This is an interesting one, and we do appreciate it. And of course, we would love to hear from you. If there's something you'd like us to consider for the show, you can email us. It's hackinghumans@n2k.com.
But don't do what this guy did, Maria.
Yeah. We got an actual fish today, just right before we started recording. Someone
Yeah.
didn't forward us a fish. It's not a listener. Somebody attempted to fish us. So it kind of made me feel a little indignant. Like, who's doing
Oh.
this? How dare you? But it was a fake DocuSign, a fake contract being sent to our Hacking Humans email. So
Oh.
we're on to you. Don't try
Did it have anything to do with the show at all?
No, it was just generic text. It was,
Yeah.
just sign this contract. And the link was very obviously fake. I mean, I may have clicked it out of curiosity.
Okay. on your
I
work
am everybody's
computer.
worst nightmare. I used a personal computer, so it's okay.
Sure. I wonder what your husband thinks about that.
I didn't actually click it. I was just joking. I did mouse over it. I was like, this definitely doesn't go to DocuSign, and it did.
Yeah, that's terrific. And now, a few thoughts from our sponsors at ThreatLocker. The tactics used by cyber criminals are becoming more and more advanced every day. The shift from a default allow approach to a default deny is more critical than ever. This is where ThreatLocker comes in. Stay tuned for how ThreatLocker allow listing and ring fencing has your back. All right, let's jump into our stories here. Joe, you have the honors this week. What do you got for us?
Dave, my story comes from Sharon Lurie at the AP, and this was being reported on ABC, so that's where we're going to put the link to it.
Mm-hmm.
But the story starts with a woman named Heather Brady, who lives in San Francisco and gets a visit from a police officer who says, "Are you attending Arizona Western College from San Francisco?" And she says, "No, I am not." Well, somebody else had applied to this Arizona Community College, and her name, and the end game here is they're scamming the government out of financial aid money.
Oh.
So what they've done is they've stolen her identity, and they have applied to this college in her name, and they've applied for financial aid in her name. And in fact, when Ms. Brady heard this, she went to her student loan servicing's website, found out that there was a $9,000 loan taken out recently. So we're going to get to why it's important as a community college here. But it was she of course has not seen any money.
Yeah.
So the article here asserts that this is the result of the confluence of AI and online college, and I would add, and student loans.
Uh-huh.
They have another student on here named Wayne Chaw, who started getting emails about a class he never signed up for at De Anza Community College. He had taken courses there a decade earlier, but identity thieves had obtained his Social Security number, and they collected $1,395 of financial aid in his name. Now, this class required students to submit some homework, right? That you could verify you were human. But these guys doing this probably just used some LLM to generate what looks like homework and handed it in.
Right.
Even though I'm taking classes right now, every single professor I've taken a class from recently has said, don't do that. That's academic dishonesty.
Okay.
Right? And it is. So these students have a name. These students don't exist. Guess what the name is? It's a cool name.
Go for it.
Ghost students.
Ooh.
Right? They even say that they have chatbots go so far as to join the classes, and these things stick around long enough so that the financial aid gets paid to the college. And in some cases, professors discover almost no one in their class is real.
Huh.
I thought that was amazing.
But you have to pay tuition.
Here's how
I'm
this
missing
works.
something. Yeah,
So
I'm missing something here. Yeah.
They're targeting community colleges.
Yeah.
Right? So if you apply for a loan, a student loan, you go to the financial aid office, you apply for a student loan, and the college will admit you, and then the Department of Education whoever the lender is, will send the student loan directly to the college to pay the tuition.
Right.
Now, why they're targeting community colleges is community colleges have very low tuitions.
Okay.
Less than $9,000. In fact, way less than $9,000. I took a class at a community college a couple of years ago, or actually about a year ago. It was like $1,200.
Yeah.
So if I signed up for like 3 classes, that would be like $3,600, and I signed up for loans in $9,000 a semester, then I'd get a check for like $5,700 or something like that. And then I'd be buying cars and mink coats and gold bars and everything else.
I'm just surprised the amounts don't match. I guess this is the part where I just would have assumed that if one was giving out a loan, one would say, "Show me your receipts. I will give you a loan for that amount and no more." And that's my naivete, I suppose.
No, that's not how student loans work. You get a loan for a certain amount, and there's some guaranteed student loans you get that are. I think I don't know how much they come, but anybody can get a guaranteed student loan. They're guaranteed to get it. And it does go directly to the college, but if your college is a community college, there's going to be an overage, probably. So they're doing this. Now, students, what happens here? Students get locked out of classes they might need to graduate. Victims of identity theft find out they've got these loans, like Miss Brady. She said $9,000. Now she has to go through the process of telling people that this is not her loan.
Is she a student somewhere else? Sorry, this is the part that I'm confused. Like, is she actually college age, or do we know?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't mention that. She might be. She might be.
Okay.
She does have a student loan servicer, so she probably has student loans.
Yeah, but she could be 60 and still be paying off her student loans, right?
Yeah.
Yes. She could be at least 56 and still paying off student loans. Ask me how I know.
Right.
Because I was thinking, like, if these are people who are just college age, could someone have stolen their identity as children, and this scam has been going on for years without them knowing it?
It could be.
We've heard about. Yeah. Okay. Oh man, my gears are turning on this one. Okay.
So this is all new to me. I've been fortunate enough to have never been in the world of student loans. I suppose my day is coming with my youngest son having just graduated from high school.
That's right. Where's he going to school?
Well, he's going to a community college.
Which one?
Howard Community College.
That is an excellent community college. In fact, that is where I took my statistics class.
Yes.
Most recently.
So, help me understand, Joe. Can student loans cover things like room and board?
Yes.
Okay.
They can cover just about anything that you're going to experience.
So that's where the overage could come in. So
yes.
I could apply for a student loan for $5,000 for $2,500 worth of classes and say the rest is just for me to be able to eat and have a place to live.
Correct.
Okay. So does that answer your question, Maria?
It does, because I was just wondering, since when does a loan go, okay, we trust you, just take as much money as you want? I mean, in theory, I'm sure they're like, well, it's more money for us to get paid back. But yeah, okay. All right. I'm learning.
So I think $9,000 is the annual guaranteed amount that you can get. And if I'm thinking about this right, then maybe Miss Brady got woken up during the second semester, which would make sense. Anyway, a couple things. Number one, actually, I think it's three things. The Department of Education has said the rate of fraud through stolen identities has reached a level that imperils the federal student aid program. So that's a pretty profound statement from the Department of Education.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is that, actually, I guess there's only one more thing. What can students do? Your identity's been stolen. There's really nothing you can do to stop people from doing this until you get notified that this is what's happening. The one thing I'm going to tell you is don't under any circumstances agree to any part of any loan that has ever been fraudulently taken out in your name. And my attitude for this is you act like this is the bank's problem and not yours.
Mm-hmm.
And because it is
yes,
the bank's problem.
Yeah.
And if they start harassing you, you got to pay these loans back. you just be like, look, those aren't my loans. You guys got scammed.
Right.
And this is not my problem.
Right.
And you making it my problem is grounds for a lawsuit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like that can be easier said than done, though. I mean, they could send collections after you to harass you and make your life miserable, and that's not fun to be on the receiving end.
Depending on the state you live in, that might be actionable as well.
It does depend.
In Maryland, we have that's the Federal Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, where you can, for every creditor that contacts you incorrectly, you can take them to court and get them to pay you $500 or something like that.
Okay, but you're 20 years old. Do you know this? And do you have
if you
time
listen
for
to the
that?
show, you know it now.
I would hope so. I remember something like this happened to me when I was in my early 20s. It was for a tiny amount of money, but somebody had taken out some account in my name that I didn't do, and collections was coming after me, and I had no idea what to do because I had no idea what this was. And thankfully, I eventually told my parents what was going on, and they told me, "Here's what you need to do." But it was they really harassed the hell out of me, and it wasn't something that I had done. So I could see someone's.
Yeah, it's scary. They're
not
social engineers too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
All right. Interesting.
don't pay the loan. Never admit to any portion of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, we will have a link to that story in the show notes. My story this week comes from the folks over at The Record, which is mostly a cybersecurity news source. It's run by the folks over at Recorded Future. And this is about cyber criminals who are posing as job seekers on LinkedIn and targeting recruiters. But there's a specific thing that caught my eye here that made me want to include this one. So let's go through this together. So you are a recruiter, minding your own business,
Right.
Scanning LinkedIn, and you get a message from someone who wants to talk to you about an opportunity. And they say, hi, I'm Bobby Weissman, and I've attached my resume. But there's no link. No active link. I actually cut and paste in our show notes here the message that someone had received. And it says, thank you for considering my application. For your convenience, you can also view my full resume along with additional information about my experience and portfolio at bobbyweissman.com. I look forward to your feedback and hope to discuss my qualifications in further detail. Sincerely, Robert Weissman.
I really want to go to bobbyweissman.com right now.
So here's the thing.
Bobby drop tables.
What's important about this and what caught my eye about this is that the bobbyweissman.com in the email address is not a link.
Right.
It is, you cannot click through. So you have to either copy and paste it out of here or just type it in manually. And that's what makes this special.
Oh.
Because the email filters aren't going to catch it as being a link. They're not going to try to filter that link because there's nothing to filter.
Right.
It's not a link, right? So if you do type in the URL, bobbyweissman.com, you will go to a site that looks like a real site. It's hosted on trusted cloud servers like AWS, and it looks like a personal portfolio site.
It sure does. Yeah.
You guys are going there?
I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at the source. It's totally harmless, just plain old HTML, like old school HTML. Suspiciously so.
Well, but all right, let's continue on here, Maria, because there's something about that as well. So when you visit the site, the perpetrators have some guardrails built in. So they will check your IP, so they're trying to weed out VPNs or security tools. They check your web browser, and if you're not on Windows, you get shown a simple harmless page. Maria?
Which is what I'm on Mac OS and using the Arc browser, which is Chrome-based, but still.
I am not pointing my Windows machine at this site.
So it checks if you pass a CAPTCHA. Maria, did you have to do a CAPTCHA?
I did not. I just got the plain old HTML site with nothing fancy, pretty boring, suspiciously plain.
Okay. So the CAPTCHA is there, obviously, to prove that you're a real person. And so if they gather that information, right, you're not a VPN, you're on Windows, and you verified yourself with the CAPTCHA, they will get you to download a zip file. And inside the zip file is a .lnk shortcut. And if you double-click that, your computer installs some malware called More Eggs, which is a JavaScript-based backdoor malware, which happens to be sold by a hacker group called Venom Spider. Yeah.
It's very scary.
And what happens is it starts running in the background and it's stealing passwords and downloading other malicious code and possibly even enabling ransomware. So that's the trick. Once that happens, that's it. It's been nice knowing you.
Right.
But what caught my eye about this was we always say over and over again, don't click the links.
Right.
Well, there's no link.
Yeah.
Which twice this episode alone, I've fessed up to do.
Yeah, exactly. So we know it works on Maria.
Well, I'm just like, I know this will be bad. I'm just very curious how bad it will be. And then I just wipe my machine after.
Right. Maria buys used machines by the dozen on eBay. And so
Don't do what I do. Just do not take advice from me.
She just throws them out her office window when she's done. And
be more like me and don't go to the website.
Right. Right. So that's the part I thought was worth sharing, that they're taking advantage of all of that training and reinforcement that folks like us are giving people, saying, don't click on links, because you don't know what is behind that link.
Yep.
In this case, if you copy and paste the URL or just type it in, it's still going to take you somewhere that's going to deliver the malware
to you.
So it's not like it's
100% work
hiding the link. Yeah.
Yep.
It's not hiding where you're going. It's the fact that where you're going is the malicious site. Right?
Would definitely work on me. Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good thing I read ahead. And I was like, oh, okay, I should be all right. When I come on the show next week and I say, now all my machines are bricked, you'll be able to point to the moment.
Right. Right.
How are you going to be on the show if all your machines are bricked?
I'll call in.
Okay.
With a landline.
A tin can with a piece of string.
Yes.
Yeah. Pro tip, never buy a used computer from Maria.
No. Definitely not.
All right. We will have a link to that story in the show notes. I tell you what, let's take a quick break here to hear from our sponsor. We will be right back after this. So let's return to our sponsor, ThreatLocker. ThreatLocker is a zero-trust endpoint protection platform that strengthens your infrastructure from the ground up. Where traditional cybersecurity tools require you to create a list of things you don't want to run, ThreatLocker enables you to easily curate an allow list of everything you need in your environment and network, and block everything else by default. With ThreatLocker allow listing and ring fencing, you gain a more secure approach to blocking exploits of known and unknown vulnerabilities. ThreatLocker provides zero-trust control at the kernel level that enables you to allow everything you need and block everything else, including ransomware. The ThreatLocker Zero-Trust Endpoint Protection Platform deploys in a learning mode that analyzes the operations of your company using machine learning to assist you in developing your allow list for approved applications, what they can do on the endpoint, what can interact with your data, and even east and west network traffic. We thank ThreatLocker for sponsoring our show. And we are back. Maria, it is your turn this week. What do you got for us?
So another suspicious link for everyone to click on. Just kidding. I just nuked my credibility in one episode. It's amazing. All right. So I have a little follow-up to a story that I think we did talk about last year about a woman in Scranton, Pennsylvania. This sounds familiar to me, who is an accountant and a business instructor. She was an adjunct business professor, actually. And she was convicted of money laundering last year, and her sentencing just went through, I think, yesterday. So she apparently laundered over $800,000 from a number of victims. Many of them were based out of Iowa, and she's based out of Pennsylvania. Again, she's an accounting professional. So these were actually clients of hers. She was convicted on 8 federal charges, including bank fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy for a scam that ran for about half a year. And the thing that we might have talked about this. I'm just going to go through it because I don't remember the details of this super well. She actually, in some way, at least the federal case says that she hacked the emails of her clients. I don't know. They don't go into details of what that exactly means. But it sounds like she basically spoofed or slightly modified emails that went to her clients' inboxes and changed salient details. So legitimate payments that were going to be going from her client to a contractor, for example, ended up getting shunted to her instead in accounts that she controlled. So the victims thought they were paying, there was a church that she defrauded. They thought they were paying a contractor who was doing work on their church, and instead she got that money. So there were 5 known victims. One was a church in Iowa. There were businesses in Colorado and Pennsylvania, a nonprofit in Washington State, and a builder in Montana. And so that church example that she impersonated a contractor on a $7 million church renovation project. And in that case, the church wired over $466,000 to a shell company that she had owned.
Wow.
So she would then launder the money that she would receive, those stolen funds, through multiple bank accounts, national crypto exchanges, and an individual, we don't know who, in Florida. This person has not been named. I don't know if this person has been found or prosecuted. So there's a bit of a mystery there. It's kind of interesting.
It's a Mr. M. Mouse. He's
Whomst is this person? We don't know. Well, I guess maybe we'll find out. And even after her, I guess the banks were sort of onto her fraud, and they would do the cat and mouse game of closing those accounts down. She would just open new ones, just keep the fraud going. And the interesting, maybe the hook that a lot of news stories are grabbing onto, and admittedly this grabbed me too, is that the woman who's just been convicted, Margot Ann Williams, says that she was manipulated by someone she believed she was dating, a famous British actor, unnamed. We don't know who it was, but she believed that
Hugh Grant. Had to be Hugh Grant.
Had to have been, right? Yeah, Notting Hill, Hugh Grant had to have been.
I mean, who couldn't fall for that adorable stuttering that he does?
No,
right?
My bet is it was Rowan Atkinson, because she has a thing for Mr. Bean. So it was
okay.
That was,
sure. You can go that way.
One can go that way too. So yeah, we don't know who it was, but one can guess. And she made a bunch of luxury purchases with the money that she made in all this fraud, and profited less than you would think, only $25,000. I'm kind of thinking that's not a lot of money for the amount that she frauded. So I'm not sure this is worth it for you. But she was sentenced to 48 months in federal prison. There is no parole in federal prison. So she has to serve that term. And she has been ordered to repay nearly $600,000. And after she is released from prison, she will serve 3 years of supervised release. So
wow.
Hugh Grant
she probably
will
lose her CPA certification too.
You think?
Probably. Probably. I like how you're not really certain. But crazy times we live in. Who knows?
No, she will lose it.
To what degree do we think that her knowledge as a CPA helped her commit these crimes?
Oh, I would bet it helped a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will also say that I think I might buy the fact that she's also a victim in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because she makes $25,000 out of $400,000. She might be getting romance scammed by somebody at the same time. But still, she did make a deliberate effort to defraud her own clients.
Right. I mean, you could make the argument that if anyone would know better, she would, as a professional, right?
Yeah, but the fact that she went in and monkeyed with the emails, that part's like, whoa, that just feels like an extra step to go in there and, mess with someone's email. So that was a lot of trust she was given that she just...
I guess we also don't know to what degree was she coached by whoever this romance scammer was,
right?
Who might
this
have
individual in Florida
everything.
potentially
Found out, you found out that she's an accountant, and you go, oh, you have clients? Oh, clients with money,
right?
Oh, because $400,000, that was just one event, right?
Yeah, it was over $800,000 in all
in total, and she winds up with $25,000. Yeah,
math ain't math, as the kids say.
Yeah, this smacks of her being scammed as well. But again, I'm not sure I have. I mean, I have the understanding for the romance scam part of it, but for the violating the I don't want to say oath of office, because it's not really an oath of office, but the what is it? Not the code of conduct. There is
professional ethics.
Professional ethics, but it's something. There's like the CISSP. I had to learn it for the test. But like if I ever get accused of or convicted of hacking anything, I can't call myself a CISSP anymore. My credential will be revoked. Because I violated the code of conduct.
Right. I mean, does one have scruples when hacking into someone else's emails? I mean, one would hope that you would maybe pump the brakes a little bit and go, this is not normally a thing I should be doing.
Yeah,
maybe
lying to customers and telling them to send the money somewhere else, and then being like, oh, you guys must have gotten hacked. Oh no, where did the money go?
Yeah.
She's probably staring at those dreamy eyes of Rowan Atkinson, thinking to herself, soon we will be together. Soon we will be together. All right. We'll have a link to that story in the show notes. Joe, Maria, it is time to move on to our catch of the day.
Dave, our catch of the day comes from someone who did not leave a name.
Okay.
So I'm just going to call this person Anani Mouse. Long-term fan of the podcast, Hacking Humans and Caveat. I know that's Ben, not Joe, but anyway, I really enjoy them both.
Well, that's nice.
Well, that's good. I like Caveat as well.
Yeah.
Ben, we should have Ben on this show whenever we start pontificating about law stuff.
That's true.
He can set it
Yes.
straight.
He can say, hey, shut up, you idiots.
Right, exactly. You guys got it all wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
I received this scam today on my mobile number that I thought you might want to get the word out regarding or look into it for fun. It's cleverly written, but is definitely mass-produced and has so many red flags that pop out while reading it. I've attached a screenshot, but it's also transcribed below in the case that sending it as a screenshot doesn't work. And that is a good thing because the spam filter on my CyberWire email did not let me open any of the attachments. And I was like,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I know they're just images.
Yeah.
Apparently, Maria's spam filter lets her open everything.
Everything. Everything. Good thing I have admin privileges on my machine. It's great.
I don't know that's a good thing. All right. Dave, you want to read the text here?
Sure. It says, enforcement penalties begin on June 7th. Our records indicate your traffic fine is overdue. In accordance with Regulation 15C-16.003, failure to resolve payment by June 6, 2025 will result in 1. Violation logged in DMV records. 2. Vehicle registration suspension effective June 7th. 3. 30-day suspension of driver's license. 4. Referral to toll collection, incurring an extra 35% fee. 5. Possible legal action and negative impact on your credit history. Settle immediately here. Resolve immediately to avoid further legal repercussions. Reply Y and reopen this message to click the link or copy it in your browser. And then, so that's the end of that.
That's the end of the message. But the listener has written in that says 15C-16.003 is a Florida admin code for record retention. And there is no such regulation for the state of Oklahoma, which I'm guessing is where this person lives.
Yeah.
Maybe the scammers are from Florida. I think the scammers just came up with some number.
Some random number. Yeah.
Said, we're going to, because how many times you heard somebody who works for some government agency cite some law that you've never seen?
Right.
And you're just going, I guess that works. That's right. That's okay.
No, that's me on Caveat with Ben.
Right.
He's like in the Supreme Court in Jenkins versus, the state of despair. I'm like, okay.
You just said a bunch of words and letters and numbers. You must be correct because I don't know what those are.
He said them with confidence, so I'm just going to go along with it. Yeah.
And he uses Latin phrases.
Yes, exactly.
Supreme Court spoke ex cathedra.
Yeah. Posse comitatus. So this, of course, is related to, I'd say adjacent to all of the toll scams that we've been seeing lately.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing, except it's saying that you have a moving violation and we're going to suspend your driver's license.
Right.
A lot of scare in this one.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything to worry about. You just delete this message when you get it.
Yeah, exactly. Let me tell you, as someone who has a child who thinks that speed limits are just suggestions.
Right.
In a town that has lots of speed cameras.
Yes.
If the DMV wants you, they will send you a letter in the mail.
Yep.
So, and also for our listeners, these are generated by kits. The bad guys, they buy an online kit and they pay a certain amount of money and it just generates these things and spits them out, and it's just a numbers game. So there's nothing to these at all. All right. Well, thanks to our listener for sending this in. We do appreciate it. And of course, we would love to hear from you. If there's something you'd like us to consider for the show, you can email us. It's hackinghumans@n2k.com. And of course, we want to thank this week's sponsor, ThreatLocker. Go to threatlocker.com/HH and check out their Zero Trust Endpoint Protection Platform. That's the words threat and locker with no space.com/HH, where you can request a demo and neutralize the threat of malware running on your devices. And that is our show. This episode is produced by Liz Stokes. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. We're mixed by Elliot Peltzman and Trey Hester. Peter Kilpie is our publisher. I'm Dave Bittner.
I'm Joe Kerrigan.
And I'm Maria Varmazis.
Thanks for listening.